Week 7, Day 4, Happy Ending. Following an executive session of a body means they're going to discuss something very sensitive. Usually, public meeting laws require that meetings be held open to the public unless you go into executive session. Executive session can be used to discuss personnel, where you discuss somebody, if they've done something bad on their job, you can decide whether to fire them or not. Those do not have to be public meetings. So that's an executive session where they send the public out, the press, cameras, everything has to go, and they have a private meeting. Following an executive session, the school board ordered the principal to terminate the suspension. To terminate the suspension means to stop. So to stop the suspension means to let the boys come back to school. They were suspended, which means they couldn't come to school. If you stop the suspension, then they are allowed to come back to school. And to send the boys back to class forthwith. That means he must do it immediately. He can't say, okay, then come back to school in a month. So he was ordered to terminate the suspension and send the boys back to class forthwith. That means tomorrow. They've got to be back in class. That's what forthwith means, immediately. And it usually means a legal action. That is, that's what a judge would say. You are hereby remanded forthwith to custody in the prison. That means you leave in chains and go to jail right then and not tomorrow. Unless it could be shown that their presence disrupted the learning process, there was no reason to bar the boys. That is, goes back to when we were talking about arbitrary. Why should a boy be sent home from school because his hair is long? If the students in the class weren't bothered by that, then the school shouldn't be bothered by it either. So that's what their presence disrupted the learning process. If you couldn't prove that long hair interfered with the learning process, they should be in class. To bar the boys, there was no reason to bar the boys. To bar means to prohibit the boys from being in class. It was a bitter pill to swallow for the principal, whose irritation was exacerbated by the ruling. All right, a bitter pill to swallow is an idiom. Medicine used to not have coatings on it, so most pills that you would take would be very bitter, so you would drink something with a lot of water afterwards. That's called a bitter pill to swallow. You don't want to do it because it tastes so bad, but you've got to do it. So that's what we mean, a bitter pill to swallow. It's an idiom. For the principal whose irritation was exacerbated by the ruling. To exacerbate means to make worse. It's a negative connotation. You exacerbate somebody's pain when you pour alcohol on it. It hurts more. So to exacerbate means to make worse. By the ruling. Ruling means judgment. But some of the sting was taken out of the victory. So some of the sting, the principal got some relief, was made to feel better. You take the sting out. It's like if you put some medicine, something, what do you call it? Anyway, medicine, painkiller, and it takes the sting out. Was taken out of the victory when the boys appeared in the school the next day with their hair clipped to a respectable length. So the boys got a haircut anyway. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. That's again an expression, a sigh of relief. I'm glad that's over with. Just as things were about to revert to normalcy, however, means go back, revert, go back to normalcy, however, the same French teacher then demanded that a girl be ousted from school for wearing a miniskirt. So the same French teacher then turned her attention to a skirt that the girl was wearing and demanded that she be suspended from school for wearing that shirt. So this French teacher had problems with the kids, apparently. All right, so ousted means to be suspended or put out.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right.